Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. It's Tim and Julie Harris with the Harris Real Estate University.
How did your week go? I hope your week went fantastic. If it did or if it didn't, I want you to have a clear mind for what we're going to be presenting to you today. So one of the topics today, this is a topic that Julie and I presented about a year ago. We have a lot of fun on this presentation, a lot of great feedback on this presentation. This outline is available on the blog, like always, realestateinsidernews.com. So this is going to be, like Julie said, about a half-hour, 45-minute presentation, and the focus on this is 10 ways to make money now. 10 ways to make money now, but more specifically, the little subtext of this presentation of this Harris Real Estate University Superstar interview, or Harris Real Estate University presents, the subtext is the sort of dumb things that I still see floating out there in the marketplace right now, and I updated some of these dumb things. There's still plenty of them out there that are being told to realtors. So that's really what I want you to do. I want you to try to have an open mind to this presentation, open mind to the points, and really challenge yourself to ask yourself, am I thinking a little outdated? Am I thinking about some of the ways I'm approaching my business and maybe, if I might, my life that are kind of obsolete, that aren't working for me? So again, this is 10 ways to make money now, and opposed to waiting around with more ramp up. I'm just going to have Julie jump to the first point because these are really great points. We have a lot of sub-points. And again, as always, on every one of our Friday presentations, I want you to go ahead and enter in your questions, and those will be the questions that Julie and I will answer during this event. Again, my main goal, Julie's main goal, is to educate you and to motivate you on this session today. So let us know how we're doing along the way and ask questions when you have them. So, Julie, 10 ways to make money and almost spring.
That's right.
Okay. Tell me what point number one is.
Exactly. Well, 10 ways to make money now. Number one, some of these are to-dos, some of these are don't-dos. Number one, avoid any what we call free advice, such as sayings, work smart, not hard. I can think of some, I don't put buyers in my car. Why would you want to do BPOs? There's lots of these types of free advice floating around there, typically from agents in your office. So it's a dangerous thing to say things like this, especially in this market, because it does require hard work. This whole work smart, not hard will make you broke. You do have to work hard. We're just going to be honest with you.
So here's the call out. Ready? Remember Julie and I said, those of you who have been with us for a while, you know we don't pull any punches. Those of you who are trying to build teams, and we're going to talk about this on this call today, those of you who think that you can somehow skip your place in line by hiring people to do your job for you because you read Gary Keller's book, okay? You did not read Gary Keller's book. You didn't read the details. There was nothing in there that said get your real estate license, hire a team, never learn how to sell or close a transaction.
Yeah, I don't recall that chapter.
So the point of all this, guys, is that you absolutely positively have to know your stuff when you're doing this, and you cannot skip any steps. And by all means, the whole mantra that a lot of people say, which is work smart, not hard. You know what? It's smart to work hard in this market. Okay, and here's the sub-tip: BPOs. Go ahead, Julie.
Well, that's right. So yes, work hard. So BPOs, you guys who are in our BPO cash flow class or our REO secrets class, you know that one of the main things we teach you, and one of the first things we teach you, is how to make a minimum of $60,000 per year doing 5 BPOs a day, 5 days a week, and to become efficient enough that you can get those done virtually by noon every day and be doing this kind of income as a part-time basis, so that you create a base income for yourself, and then you do, quote, normal real estate in the afternoon. It just makes sense. And every one of you who is doing BPOs right now, you guys know what I'm talking about, because all of you guys are really, really slammed with work, and you're trying to figure out how to make it more efficient. You're hiring people to help you.
Hold on, Coach Julie. Hold on now. If I'm doing all those BPOs, it's going to take me forever. That's not smart. And I'm not going to be able to go out and list properties. I'm not going to be able to, whatever other excuse you have for actually not doing any actual work is what BPOs actually are. Well, here's a little fun fact for you guys. And you can check me on all my facts. All my information is available on the realestateinsidernews.com, our blog. In just the past few years, the National Association of Realtors has lost almost a third of its members. Right now, it appears that the total roster of realtors is going to go down to pre-bubble levels. No big surprise. But, guys, just to put that in perspective, in just the past few years, that's over 300 realtors that have failed. Now, of the realtors that are remaining in your office, How many are actually doing any transactions? How many are actually making any money? Any money at all?
Right. If it was true that everyone is too busy listing property to do BPOs, where are all of the listings for everyone?
That's right. So, guys, work hard, not smart. It's smart to work hard in this marketplace, and do not be fooled by that. Point number 2, this is kind of like point number 1, but even more important, take action now, worry about the rest later. Far too often, agents fool themselves that getting ready to get started will produce results. Endless office meetings, realtor tours, conferences are not taking action. You need productive action, and you need it now. Julie, we can hear you.
Well, and it's beyond that, too. Some agents think that just signing up for training, just the fact that they're in a class, which, believe me, that's a good first step, but that doesn't rain listings on you. You must actually take action, right? Massive action, focused action. That's why we give you action plans to follow. Just makes sense. So take action now, worry about the rest later. Create a nice problem to have. See, some of you guys are, taking maybe a little bit too long, if we're being honest, to implement certain things. I'm thinking of short sale students who say things like, gosh, I would do that agent-to-agent flyer, that referral thing that you guys teach us in class, but gosh, what if it works? I might get too busy.
Well, it is fear of success, guys. At the end of the day, that's what holds you back. Those of you who are analytical in nature and you're saying, well, I don't want to do anything until I absolutely positively know what I'm doing and I know how to do it and all the rest of it, that's just fear of success. That's just you basically, I'm going to say it, being lazy.
Well, there's an element of ego to that too, Tim, that they are thinking that it's actually possible to know everything before they do some good work. And I always tell the short sale students the same thing. Even if it was possible to know everything about that there is in short sales, they're just going to change the rules on you anyway. So let go of having to know everything all the time about everything. It's unrealistic.
Yes, that's true. That's a good point about it being ego. It definitely is. So get into action, learn along the way. You don't have time to learn every detail. Stop procrastinating. Studying is not work, okay? So get into action, and I'm going to really focus in, drill down on those of you who are Harris Real Estate University students. Every single coaching program that we offer, every single class, every single designation is designed that you earn as you learn, okay? It's not designed so that you have to sit there and absorb hours of information before you actually have anything applicable. In other words, right out of the gates, we give you action plans that are designed to put you in a position where you're learning on the job, earning on the job. That way you don't go broke while you're waiting to learn. Does that make sense?
Well, which is another reason we teach you BPOs,
Right.
so you can get a base. The best thing, with this earn while you learn, I was thinking about our short sale class yesterday, Tim. Someone asked our short sale coach, Michelle McClintock. She was sharing all these fantastic secrets. In fact, the title of the call was, what are you waiting for? Because agents say, well, I'm not closing my short sale because I'm waiting for. There's always a part of that sentence. And someone said, well, how did you learn all this stuff?
Yeah, I know how Michelle learned all of it.
She learned by doing.
Yep.
She didn't roll out of bed when the market changed with just, having plugged herself in matrix style, and now she's got a short sale brain. That would be nice, and believe me, we're working on inventing that for all of you guys. But until then, you must learn from experience. It just makes sense.
You realize that of the hundreds of people listening, maybe 2 understood what you meant. But that's okay. They're laughing.
Right. There you go.
All right. So moving down the road
Number 3.
Number 3, guys. Don't waste time trying to – this is a good point.
This is great.
Don't waste time. You know what? I can't even finish reading this. It makes my skin crawl so much. I am so sick and tired of morons telling you that you have to be passionate about what you do for a living to be successful. That is a load of crap, okay? Because what happens is that creates an excuse for all of you to never be successful because you're always saying to yourself, I'm not passionate about what I do.
I'm just not passionate. I have calls like that every week. Oh, I've lost my passion for real estate.
Right. So, hey, I got news for you guys. Julie and I have done literally personally, I want you guys to feel sorry for us when we tell you this. This is how the reaction you should have. We've personally had, between the two of us, at least 75,000 half-hour graduate level coaching calls, okay? We've done literally thousands of hours of coaching at this point. Calls like this, other things, create tens of thousands of documents for you guys. Do you think we have passion for creating real estate content? Do you think that's something that we look forward to and dream about?
I can't wait to wake up in this morning and write a new script for these guys.
No,
I'm going to spend all day doing nothing but scripts.
That's right. Woo-hoo, that's going to be fun.
Right.
No, we don't. But what we do have passion for is the result. You guys, we do have passion. I was having a really great IM conversation with one of our customer service people yesterday. And Sarah in Florida, you know, that's where she is. She works the East Coast for us. And I was talking to her, and she was telling us about, you know, how she's absolutely positively seen so many realtors who've joined the university who basically have turned their not just businesses around but lives around because they have money again. And she was just basically passing on to me what it feels like to be in the position of feeling like she's actually helping people. So she didn't have passion for working with real estate agents, helping them get started at Harris Real Estate University, but now she has passion for the result. Okay, so you don't have to have passion for doing short sales or going on listing presentations with crotchety sellers who think their gold-plated toilet is worth, you know, the weight in gold, where you know it's not. Okay, you don't have to have passion for that. It's almost impossible to.
We would worry about you if you did.
That's right, but you can have passion for the result. You know what? Even if you're not passionate, as we are, from helping people, because that's where we absolutely positively love the fact that you guys are, frankly, we get so many positive testimonials and great words of thanks for you. That's what fuels us. But even if you're not getting that kind of feedback from your clients, which I know you're probably not, I mean, there's a reason they say selling real estate is a thankless job, because 9 times out of 10 nobody thanks you. Have passion for what comes as a result of you selling real estate, which is the financial freedom, which is the money, which is the independence. Julie, help me out here.
Well, have passion for what it affords you to do in life. What can you do? Who can you be? What can you have? What can you provide for yourself and your family? It is more fun in life to have a great income. That's the fact.
It is a fact. And don't feel guilty about being wealthy. Those of you, you know, that's the other thing that's interesting. I see a lot of agents who will have great months. Julie, we have agents that are making $100,000. I mean, we are the largest online coaching organization now. We have thousands and thousands of students, and you know as well as I do, we have realtors that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, you know, in whatever area of their business they're focusing on. And, you know, the interesting thing is that a lot of times they'll have psychological issues with the income they're earning because they're surrounded by people that aren't. And so they railroad themselves and they don't earn it consistently. Okay, that's because you guys are confused. You're really confused about what the point of money is. You have money, and the more money you have is a direct correlation to, and this is the secret of money, by the way, and I learned this, and Julie learned this after having studied it for ages. Okay, we're in our 40s, and believe me, this did not just pop into our heads one day. We had to figure it out. There's a direct correlation between the freedom you have, the money you have, the life you have, and the number of people that you're helping. That's it. That is the formula for success. You want more of everything for you, your family? You have to figure out a way to help more people. People that are, you know, you look at somebody, this is an extreme example, but it's still valid. You look at some entertainer that's making tens of millions of dollars per year. Why? Because they're making tens of millions of people feel a certain way. They're delivering a service that people are willing to pay for. If you're broke and you don't have any prospects, if you're worried about your financial future, you need to start with the thought that do not experience, do not live, all those types of things, the life that I want, because I'm not helping enough people at a high enough level. Don't forget that last
And that's the only reason.
And that's it. Exactly. That's it. That's the secret right there.
Big mystery.
You don't have to look for some big idea. There's another big myth I should add to this list. You shouldn't have to look for some big idea. Don't wait for they're successful or they have a lot of money because they had a big idea. That's another myth.
It's just hard work and helping lots of people.
Consistently. That's it.
And I think, honestly, Tim, that's probably a lot more simple than people try to make it.
Well, I know. And, it's because all these people that are saying stupid things like only do what you're passionate doing and everything else will follow.
Baloney.
Yeah, right.
Otherwise, all of you would be rich.
You're going to go out
all the time.
You're going to go out and basically, if I'm passionate about watching golf on TV, that's what I'm passionate about. Exactly how are you going to actually obtain an income, let alone a decent income, from watching anything or doing a lot of the things that we in all reality are passionate about? It just doesn't happen that way. It's a myth, and it's a horrible myth, and it's something that you guys actually believe.
That's right. So then that follows through to some of you believing that people who are super successful in real estate must have a lot of passion for it, must love it, when in fact what's going on is they love helping people at a high level, and they love the results that it gets for not just their clients but themselves.
That's right.
So it just makes sense, and that's something to write down and live by. Point number 4, and all these points are a little bit related, you'll notice. Point number 4, lead with revenue. Simply put, you must earn the money before you can spend it. Here's a big light bulb that I think most of the country has realized in recent years. Far too often agents think they have to spend loads of money on websites, fancy brochures, etc., before they have the cash to pay for it. And we realize that the people selling you those fancy websites and brochures and all that marketing and, all the stuff that's in your email waiting for you right now, we realize that they tell you, oh, you have to spend money to make money. You've got to spend it first if you expect to make anything.
And your broker might even be telling you that. Okay?
Pretty common.
But you guys are going to go to seminars. Here's a little secret for you about seminars. The reason that Julie and I, frankly, don't go to a lot of seminars and don't speak at a lot of seminars is because the people that you're listening to speak, 9 times out of 10, paid to speak to you. So when you go when you go to exactly. When you go to these big events and you're at some big, convention, and there's some big expert on stage, he's there because he stroked a check for tens of thousands of dollars to be up there. Now, in my mind, that's a little dishonest. It's one thing if he's writing a check and everyone in the audience knows that he's paid to be there. But that isn't the way it works, is it? You guys are led to believe that this is some sort of chosen expert that the brand is somehow endorsing versus somebody who just wrote a check, okay? And then what does he do? He goes up there and he tells you about how internet marketing and how social networking or whatever it is going to be basically the end-all, be-all. And then what do? You end up writing check after check, credit card after credit card for things in hopes that the result will follow. It doesn't work like that, guys. They're in the business of selling you something. You're in the business of selling houses. They're in conflict, and they don't necessarily go hand in hand. Don't be fooled by that.
Exactly. So there's many flavors of needing to lead with revenue. So one of these things goes right back to our earlier point about building a team. You get no staff until you have closed 10 units per month, 2 months in a row. Now, there's an exception to that, which is if your office provides you a transaction coordinator, that's fantastic. You probably should use them. However, team building, forget about it until 10 units per month for not just once as a fluke, but a minimum of 2 months in a row. And I usually, with my graduate students, I usually say for 90 days so we're sure it's not a fluke, so that it is a habit and not just luck. Okay, maybe you had a whole bunch of builder listings or whatever, you burned through them, now they're gone. Unless you keep producing at that level, there's no reason to have an assistant. As far as, transaction coordinators not in your office, ones that you're paying yourself, you need to be doing about 40 transactions per year to even justify a transaction coordinator.
Well, Julie,
you don't need a buyer's agent if you don't have any listings.
Jules, these last 2 points are
right.
The exact reason why so many agents come to Harris Real Estate University and say, I am selling, 50, 60, 100 houses per year, but I'm not making any net income. We've got a lot of agents who are successful by any measure, but they don't have 2 nickels to rub together. Why? Because they spent their money on their teams, because they spent their money on all kinds of lead generation things, because they've never actually learned how to sell real estate. They truthfully believe that you have to buy your way to success. Mm-hmm. And guess what happens? They become successful. The industry recognizes them and awards them and says they're great, even though in the back of their minds they're worried about if they're going to be able to, buy groceries for their family. That is the reality of our industry, guys. Our industry is not designed to breed millionaires. Our industry is not even designed to breed anyone having any form of financial independence. That is what makes Harris Real Estate University so different. Our goal is to not just have you be, recognized as being an industry leader. Our goal is to make it so that one day, if you choose to, you can easily leave the industry because you've created enough financial independence for yourself. Hey, here's a question for you. When was the last time you saw a realtor retire? I got an email the other day, I've been thinking about this, Julie, from someone who was one of our subscribers, and this gal said, she's one of our students, she said, I am retiring from real estate, and then she said, why? I've got I think it was 17 paid off houses. It's been my financial plan from the beginning to pay off real estate, and now that I've got my houses paid off, my husband and I are going to start doing this, and we're going to go on cruises, and I'm not going to sell real estate. And you know what? I congratulated her.
That's great.
Yeah.
But you know what? You snuck that word in there. She had a plan which she was following.
Yeah, exactly.
It was by design. And I can tell you, anybody with that profile, you don't get there by mistake. It is by design. And that's why we consistently beat on you about the treasure map, having a plan, following it, having listing goals. You know, there's a reason behind all of that.
When people come to us and they say things like, I'm just so busy, I cannot imagine when I'm going to do this, let alone that, I can't keep up with this, and my blah, blah, blah. It's all because you guys don't have a schedule, you don't have a plan, you don't have clearly defined goals. The realtor that says they're constantly busy, how often are you actually busy with doing anything that's going to produce money for you?
Well, there is a difference between being busy and being productive.
Well, what's the difference, Julie?
Busy, you can be busy, moving paper across your desk. Any sentence that starts with the word tweaking my website, tweaking brochures, you can appear to be busy. There's probably busy agents all around you in your office right now. Productive means you're working on dollar productive activity, which is only 5 things in real estate. Again, prospecting or lead generation, that leads to actually having to follow up on your leads. That's lead follow-up. You've got pre-qualifying, presenting, negotiating, and closing. Those are productive things. Everything else is fluff. If it doesn't lead to a commission directly, I don't know why you're doing it.
Well, that's exactly right. Here's the fun little challenge for all of you. You should do this. Go to your MLS, go to your brokers, and find out, ask the simple question, how many realtors in my board or in my brokerage sold one house last year? Just one. How many sold one? Here's what you'll discover. I'll save you the effort. At least 50% of all the agents in all of your boards sold nothing last year.
But they were probably busy.
Exactly. That's my point. They're still busy, busy, busy. They went to all the realtor tours. Okay, they probably had signs. Oh, I promise you, they were social networking.
Of course, they were all over Facebook every day.
All over Facebook talking about what they put in their hamburger last night, or
they planted in Farmville.
Exactly. Okay, they were busy, but they weren't productive. There is a difference, guys. Again, if you're an agent and you got into this business because you wanted to make not just a living, but a great living, if you wanted to have financial independence, if you wanted to essentially pay off all your debt, if your goal essentially is to run your business like a business, we're for you. If you got into this business as a social experiment so you could basically parade around like you're successful, even though the clothes that are on your back literally you're renting because you haven't paid for them off your credit card yet, if you basically wanted to walk around as you're some primped up phony, we're not for you. We're for the realtors who want to buckle down, stay focused, make money, be of service to other people, and then have financial options that other people can only dream of.
Exactly. Number 5, don't make the mistake of believing that this is just a numbers business. It's not. It's a people-helping business. Remember Tim's previous point. If you do not yet have the income or the savings that you desire, it's because you have yet to figure out how to help enough people at a high enough level. So, yes, you've got to know your numbers. You should have goals of listings and how many transactions you're going to do, which creates that income goal. But really it gets back to helping people. And I see this in a lot of different places, Tim. I see this in agents' lead follow-up or lack of lead follow-up, their lack of urgency, where they think, well, if they're really serious, they'll track me down. It's not the prospect's job to track you down. It is a people-helping business, guys. The more people you're helping at a high level, and that's the important part, which means give them the information when they want it, when they need it, when they ask for it at a high level, of course you're going to do more transactions, right? But just saying, and I think probably the most obvious place in this, like, just listed or just sold cards or, calls, or just cold door knocking, because the agent is focused on, all right, and I will say that I have worked today, versus making sure that at least 10 of those 50 doors are expireds or NODs, people who make sense that they need your help, right?
Well, more fundamentally, though, aside from the numbers, yes, you're saying basically efficient use of your time. That's what Julie's trying to show you guys. But more fundamentally, it goes back to the mindset. If your mindset is being of service, if your mindset is truly to help people, all of a sudden those contacts, making those calls or doing that lead follow-up, doing the work aspect of real estate that all of us have to do becomes effortless. It becomes easy because you're no longer focused on yourself. How many of you on this call actually today, with 100% confidence, could go out and take a listing? How many of you could do it? So if there was a competition, international competition, where at the end of the prize, the payoff, was basically a check for $10,000, and all you had to do is go out and take one absolutely must-sell, have-to-sell, motivated seller. And it can't be one of your properties, all right, or your mom's, all right? So you had to go out and generate a listing today, a great listing. How many of you could actually do it? You know what, Julie, let's take a little breath here. In the webinar, those of you, Julie, you have to read the question, the responses, okay? So those of you who are 100% confident that today you could go out and take a listing, here's the question I have for you. I want you to say who you are, and I want you to basically let me know how you do it, and we'll share the results here in a second. So the question was, the topic of today's call is 10 ways to make money now, and the question I just asked all of you, and enter in your response in the webinar, is there's a competition. Whoever basically takes a listing today will get $10,000. I want you to go ahead and enter in, or you know what, I'll make it more realistic, $7,500, because the average commission in the United States right now is basically $7,500 because the average sale price in the United States now, is hovering around there if you factor in California. So that's the prize. One listing today, $7,500. Who could do it, and how would you do it? Okay, that's what I want you to put in the webinar. And, Julie, let's move on to the next point.
All right, you got it. So I was looking at the webinar. All right, let's see, number 5, numbers business. Number 6, when the going gets tough, the smart leave. What do we mean by that? Well, it's the exact opposite of what most people do, but here's the bottom line. We mean if what you're doing isn't working, make a change. How long will you give yourself to bang your head into the wall with something that is not working?
Okay, so let's drill down on this one. Harris Real Estate University, Julie and I and our staff started teaching short sales on a national scale before anybody. All the other designations, SFR, expert this, whatever, all those came after us. And by the way, guys, a lot of those agents were students of Harris Real Estate University. And they'll tell you that. They learn how to do short sales from us. That is just a fact. So here's a thought for you. Julie, what was the point? Say it one more time.
The point is when the going gets tough, the smart leave.
How many of you, up till probably about the last 6 months, were told not to do short sales? Yeah, exactly.
That just makes my skin crawl to hear that.
There were national, quote-unquote, coaches, gurus, speakers that were telling realtors, and probably still are, not to do short sales.
They were even making fun of short sales. Oh, it's a long sale. Ha, ha, ha. Real funny.
Right.
I'm sure that the seller really thought that was funny.
You're right. So here's this really happened. Some of you know who I'm talking about, okay? From a national audience in front of thousands of people at conventions, they would make jokes about short sales. Don't do short sales, they're long sales. And then here's these realtors in the audience thinking to themselves. I watched a great video yesterday from a really great agent named Neil Weichert from California. He's a RE/MAX agent. And he was talking about the fact that, and I know for a fact that Neil's business was built on old school, lead generation techniques like calling FSBOs, expired, centers of influence, prospecting, stuff that actually works. Anyway, so he's on this great video. I'm probably going to post it on realestateinsidernews.com so you guys can see it. He's explaining, hey, guess what? At least 30% of my market is upside down. And if I'm going to do a transaction, I have to be able to do a short sale. Guys, here's some interesting facts for you. Now, with a few exceptions, and I do mean few, if you're going to do any kind of volume, you have to be doing short sales. You just don't have a choice anymore. It's no longer optional. It just isn't. But here's the thought. So many of you are still saying to yourselves, well, I'm going to continue doing business the way I've always done it, and I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to slow down. I'm not going to do anything different. This is the way I do it. I call expireds. Okay, what happens when every single expired you call is needing to do a short sale? What happens then exactly? You get the point? How many of you are still doing marketing, mailing, showing, pretty pictures of you and your dog and wondering why the phone isn't ringing, thinking, well, it'll happen next month. It's going to happen. I'm going to put it all down on red again and pull the lever, and hopefully my number comes up. How many of you are still doing things that way, thinking that miraculously something's going to change? Guys, the old saying of when the going gets tough, the tough get going is outdated.
Exactly. So think about this.
It's absolutely true that when the going gets tough, the smart leave. But first of all, they really study whether or not, is this still working? Is this going to work in this marketplace?
Really the smart change. That's how the saying should go. And think about, from our perspective, do you think that a few years ago I ever would have thought in a million years I would spend so much time talking about BPOs? Seriously? Okay, but We always call that a gift from the real estate gods, which gives you a nice little base income and pays you to learn how to price property. So you've got to change, and that brings us to point number 7. Be where the puck is going to be.
Well, tell the whole story, right?
So that's a Wayne Gretzky quote, right? You ramp it up.
Yep. Wayne Gretzky was being interviewed. A lot of you guys have heard the story before, but it's an excellent story. And I don't tell it exactly right because the real story takes a long time to tell, but this is the gist of it. Julie, make sure you scan the comments. So Wayne Gretzky being interviewed. Somebody asked him, Wayne Gretzky, for those of you who don't know, hockey player, Canada, was considered to be the greatest hockey player of all time. So the interviewer asked him, he said, Wayne, you're not the youngest, this is during an interview, by the way, in front of Wayne Gretzky, if you can imagine. You're not the youngest, you're not the fastest, you're not really athletically the best by just appearance sake. Why is it that you're the great one? And the story goes, and I actually watched this, he leaned back in his chair, and he said very subtly, because when we're skating, in essence, the other skaters always flock to where the puck is, and I go to where the puck is going to be. That's the essence. He's not focused on where it is. He's focused on and thinking about where it's going to be.
Where it is too late.
Now, how does that translate to real estate? Very simply, your business. You do have to focus on where it is. That's your opportunity today. But then you also have to be smart to where it's going to be. Otherwise, a year from now, like so many agents who are coming to Harris Real Estate University, thousands of agents are enrolling in our short sale class. Why? And a lot of them have other designations. And I'll share with you guys a story. There is no way you're going to be able to learn crap about short sales other than the surface stuff in a 2-day seminar. It's just not going to happen. There are too many details. There are too many specifics. So we're the largest short sale training organization in the country. It sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm not. I'm just stating a fact, and I don't know it all. Julie doesn't know it all. Our coaches, we have 3 short sale coaches. They don't know it all. They learn on the job because they're still doing short sales in addition to coaching you guys. That is how they do it. That is what they do. And this information changes all the time, literally. There is no set system. The packages change. The rules change. Freddie Mac came out with something recently that said basically no more deficiency judgments. Did you guys even know that? We're telling every one of our short sale students to absolutely positively get a QWR for every single short sale that you do from here forward. Do you know what a QWR is? Do you know how to make it so your seller doesn't have a deficiency judgment even if it's a recourse mortgage? Do you know how to deal with, seconds and even thirds so they won't pursue your seller after the closing and you won't get sued? Do you know how to do all that?
And if you know how to do it, are you actually doing it?
That's right. Well, chances are you don't know how to do it, and you have no clue what I'm talking about unless you're one of our students. Okay? That's the point. You have to be constantly updating your information. Here's some hard, cold facts for you guys. I share this on the blog all the time. 4 million people have already lost their home to foreclosure. 4 million. But here are the scary numbers, if that's not scary enough. 6 million owners are currently in one stage of default. 6 million are in one stage or another of default. 6 million. Another number, this one's truly scary, frankly. 11 million owners in the country right now are underwater. 11 million. By the way, the most optimistic reports about the new Obama housing programs, they're not even new anymore, they've been out for a while now, are that maybe, truly, 500,000 people will get some form of help. But here's the little secret for all of you. The mortgage settlement from the robo-signer, AG settlement, whatever, guys, that is not any sort of Shangri-La. That's not it. Read on the blog. That money, they haven't even decided how they're going to split it up yet. They haven't even decided who's going to qualify to get any of it. So here's the cold, hard fact. The reason that those 6 million people that are in default will probably lose their house to foreclosure if they don't do a short sale is because loan mods don't work. Statistically, they don't work. 11 million people currently underwater. I just told you that number. But if you factor in the near underwaters, and this does not get reported on the news that often, near underwaters are the people that basically, if they were to put their house for sale, would be upside down. I remember those types of transactions all the time when Julie and I sold real estate, right? They would make nothing because when you factor in normal selling fees, a little bit of negotiation and a roof repair, normal stuff, they were underwater. Right? It does not take much for someone to be tens of thousands of dollars underwater on a real estate transaction. It's not just because of the realtor's commissions either, just the nature of it. So you factor in those people, the number of underwater owners in the United States right now is closer to 20 million. Think about that. 20 million. Okay, Tim, what is that number? That seems like a big number, but there's 300 million Americans. There's supposedly like 150 million homeowners. Okay, well, that's fine. Here's to put it into perspective. In the United States, every year, there's roughly between 4 and 5 million homes that get sold. 4 and 5 million homes total that get sold. And if you factor in all the underwaters, near underwaters, and you factor in the guys that are already in default, that's close to 20 million homeowners. 5 million homes get sold. 20 million homes are basically unsellable, and they'll have to be sold. They're going to have to be pushed through the short sale or the REO inventory. Or I suppose a certain percent of those people will just keep those houses underwater forever. Some people will just basically be underwater in their houses for decades. This skill, the skills that we teach at Harris Real Estate University, are where the puck is and where it's going to be, but you have to be taking action on it. Don't make the mistake of being one of these realtors that's looking for the silver bullet, thinking that somehow miraculously there's going to be some sort of idea around the corner that's going to be easier than basically having to actually know how to get stuff done, knowing how to do work. That's one of those myths.
I mean, exactly. That's where
Julie,
we're
what are the comments?
Basically, everybody's agreeing with all of the points, saying, yes, you're talking about me. So nobody has said exactly how they would take a listing if their life depended on it. So you guys still have to send that in, and it does take a couple minutes for it to come in. So point number 8, and this is where there's a lot of black hole going on with a lot of agents. Do what matters most first. Now, this assumes that you know what matters most, so you can do it first, but ask yourself every day this question: how can I be of service to others at the highest level today, right now, as we speak? How can I be of service to others at the highest level? What you discover is that the answers to those questions are the very things that will earn you a commission or many commissions. Create a schedule where you do all of your lead follow-up, prospecting, blogging, contract negotiating, etc. in the morning, and do what matters most first. So what matters most first in real estate? Well, what matters most to all of you is what leads to a paycheck. That's what you're in this for. And if anybody says, I'm not in it for the money, then do all of your deals for free. Okay? We don't need to pound that point. I think you guys get the gist of it, right? So what matters most first? A lot of you guys will say, I've got a lead generation problem, when in fact, you've got tons of leads. You're just terrible at lead follow-up. So I always coach people, Tim, and I think you do too, go to lead follow-up first, because these are people who have asked for your help. If you can set an appointment out of your lead follow-up before noon every day, well, you've done your job. You've done what matters most first. Then you go to anything that's time-dependent, like negotiating, right? So you've got an offer open until noon. You better get that done first. And then you can go on through the list. What matters most first? Then you can branch out and say, all right, what are the spokes of business that I claim I'm getting deals from? I say that I get deals from past clients and centers of influence. Well, when was the last time I talked to all of them? I better work that next. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, what matters most first? This is you guys, specifically, this point is for all of you who say, I'm busy, busy, busy. I'm busy. I don't have time to do the lead follow-up. Or I just don't know when I'm actually going to call my centers of influence or past clients. Or when I'm going to follow up on those short sale leads that I just got from one of Tim and Julie.
I'll get to it eventually.
Or I can't call the asset managers back that want me to, or I can't call my centers of influence, and basically, even though I know that, half of them statistically are underwater, I don't have time to call them.
The typical answer, like when we're holding somebody accountable on a coaching call, and we'll say, okay, you promised last week you're going to take 2 listings, right? And sometimes agents will say, well, I couldn't do that because I had a deal fall apart. That's a very typical thing. Well, okay, so you had a deal fall apart for 24 hours for all 7 days?
Exactly.
Seriously? So yes, we understand stuff comes and goes and you have fires to put out. Why do you take a week to do it? Give yourself an hour. Pretend as if you had a flight to catch at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Everyone miraculously gets everything done when you have a deadline.
How many of you secretly look for drama in your businesses, in your lives, to distract you?
Everyone.
How many of you right now are getting antsy because you haven't read something scandalous, or you haven't talked to the office gossip about did you hear? How often do you say in the course of a day, did you hear, or do you know? Or how often do you seek out the attention of the awesome, whoever it is that pervades all that garbage? And the reason is because you guys are addicted to things that will distract you from doing the work that's going to get you paid. And then you wonder why you don't have any money. Then you wonder, well, what's the secret to success? Oh, they just must be lucky.
Right. So you can see how you start to circle the toilet bowl with these thoughts. Our job as your coaches is to keep you out of that bowl. So do what matters most first. If you're not sure, the easiest place to go is your lead follow-up. Next easiest place to ask yourself, what is my next appointment? If we can get every single one of you to simply ask that question when you open your eyes in the morning, what's my next appointment? And after that appointment, what's my next appointment?
Well,
that's what it's about, being in front of people.
Graduate students, those of you guys who are Harris Willow State University graduate students, there are, our top students. They're the ones that are getting personally coached every single week. They have a list of what we call minimum standards. These are the things that they have to do every single day. And as an example, they have to make X number of lead generation calls. They have to spend X amount of time doing lead follow-up, but more specific things. They have to have X number of listing leads at all times, because here's a little interesting statistic for you guys. If you have, say, for example, 10 listing leads at all times, or 20 or 30, a certain percent of those guys will actually turn into listings for you. Lots of them in this type of marketplace won't. There'll be sort of issues. They'll change their mind. They'll decide to rent. They'll whatever. So you have to have, right now, to take and sell one single listing, the ratio is probably like 5 to 1. So if you want to sell 20 listings this year, you've got to be generating throughout the year. How many would that be, guys? 100 listing leads. Does that sound daunting to you? Are you one of these agents that believe that leads are hard to get? Are you one of these agents that are actually paying these websites? Listen, I love Zillow. I love Trillia. I love Realtor.com. I think they have a purpose. But for you guys who think that you have to pay to generate buyer leads, are you kidding me? Buyer leads are the easiest thing in the world to get. Here's the secret. Have listings.
Well, so here's the thought behind that. Why would someone do that? The only reason that you pay for buyer leads is because you don't have listings. So by paying for buyer leads, really what you're doing is admitting you have no listing skills. Or you need to update your listing skills, or you need to take more action. Paying for buyer leads is an admission of lack of listings.
Well, there's this big political Mickey Mouse thing that is prevailing our country right now, the 99% versus the 1%. Well, the same thing applies to real estate, but here's the difference. It's the 99% of the realtors out there that don't know how to consistently have listing inventory, and the 1% who do. Because the 1% who do have the listing inventory are the agents with the money. That's the key. Be a listing agent. Oh, Tim, it's so hard to be a listing agent. How do I generate? Now, hold on now. Let's slow ourselves down and stay focused here. Do you truly believe that in a marketplace that I've already given you all the numbers, where there's tens of millions of people that are underwater on their mortgage, where literally you walk outside your door and realistically, depending on your market, every other house is underwater, are you really telling me that it's hard to generate listing leads? Really? Truthfully, you believe that. You think listings are hard to get in this marketplace. Let me tell you. I'll tell you when listings were hard to get. In the bubble. Okay? In the bubble, I was having a great conversation with one of my graduate coaching students just yesterday, and I asked him, I said, do you prefer being a listing agent now? Is it harder to get business now, or was it harder to get business in the bubble? Absolutely, positively in the bubble. Listings were scarce. That's one of the reasons why the listing prices went up. There was a lack of inventory, and there were too many buyers, 3 buyers.
And do you think your commission was what you wanted it to be back then, when the seller could put their own sign in the yard and have 20 contracts before midnight?
Guys, it has never been so easy to be a listing agent as
Literally,
it is now.
I mean, it's crazy. Every time I go out to our mailbox, right, I can be going out of our office in Las Vegas, I can be going to the mailbox, and I can almost guarantee you to walk back with a listing lead. Why? Because, and I'm definitely going to run into a BPO agent wandering around. That's without a doubt. Then I'm going to talk to somebody about their failed loan mod, and they're going to be talking about investment property or putting their home on the market. All I have to do is run into anyone, Now, obviously, Vegas is pretty much every single person you run into, but what if you're in a different market and it's only half the people you run into? Getting listing leads is not that much of a challenge, assuming you're not a secret agent.
We tell this story, but it is true. There was a week, and this was not too long ago, I'm getting my hair cut before Julie and I are flying to some private office event. You know, we do quite a few private office events where a region or an office will fly us in and speak for a day and we'll leave. Anyway, so, you know, getting my hair cut, talking to the gals that are cutting my hair, and guess what? Every single one of them had to do a short sale. Every single one of them. Okay, so we don't list and sell real estate anymore because we can't compete with our agents. This is the right thing to do. When we get a listing lead, we send it off to our students, right? So now we're sitting on the plane, right? And Julie we're in first class. We only fly first class. And the stewardess asked, you know, just making, you know, in first class, guys, it is a completely different experience than the rest of the plane. The stewardesses actually take time, get to know you, you know, are really friendly, don't just basically treat you like you're a cow with a number stamped on your butt. So she asked us, what do you do? What do you do? And we told them. And then guess what happened? Within like 5 minutes, fortunately, Julie was having this conversation. I didn't have to do it. Within 5 minutes, all the stewardesses and the stewards on the plane were flocked around Julie, sitting in seat 1A or whatever it was. And she's giving a mini seminar on short sales. Okay, every single one of them had to do a short sale.
Do you remember when we gave blood in the bloodmobile and the same thing happened?
Yeah, so Julie and I are driving by a bloodmobile. And, you know, we always try to, you know, so I have a rare blood type, and so we slow down, we're going to give blood, and then, you know, you're laying there, you're getting drained, you know, what do you do? And we say, well, you know, we always try to avoid the conversation, to be honest with you, but then, you know, they always press more. We say, well, we're business owners, and then they press more. Well, what do you do? We said, we own, an online, oh, really, short sales. I have, oh, boy.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Then what happened? Every single person on that bloodmobile was talking with Julie. She was giving another little mini seminar at the same time she was passing out from giving blood.
That was fun.
Yeah, but the fact is, guys,
they literally drained all the information from me.
Drained all the information out of her. But that's how difficult it is to generate listing
I wasn't
leads.
even asking. Okay,
exactly. She was
if
trying
I was
to avoid
an agent, what would happen?
Yeah.
Pretty scary. So there is no excuse to have no listing.
Oh, it's hard to generate listing leads. No, it's not.
You not.
Just
Stop
are not
it.
asking. You're not going out there and radiating the fact that you're there to help people with their real estate challenge. Little simple scripts you can use like, whom do you know that I should be helping sell their home in this market? You can ask little, guys, if you're not in our short sale class, what the heck, right? Enroll. Accredited Short Sale Designation is a 12-month coaching program. We give you all these scripts. I'm not going to take a lot of time on this call, but here's the bottom line. You are surrounded with opportunity. All you have to do is change your mental and emotional radio dial to look for the opportunity. You have to beat the opportunity off with a stick in this marketplace, which goes back to an earlier point about paying for buyer leads. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Buyer leads grow on trees when you have listings. Buyer leads you will have to beat off with another stick because you have so many of them because you have listings. Start with going after short sale listings. They're the easiest listings to get. Why? The sellers are not emotionally attached to the house anymore. They have to sell the house. They're extremely motivated because they want to avoid the foreclosure. And right now, depending on your state, there might not be a deficiency judgment. Guess what, guys? In most of the country, you can pretty much guarantee that owner is going to walk out of that short sale with some check. In California and other big markets, you have agents that are able to negotiate, and we're showing you how to do this, with $25,000, $35,000 at closing for the owner. How hard is it for you to take a listing from someone who is going to lose the house to foreclosure, ruin their credit for 5 years, not be able to buy a house for 5 years, and here's your listing presentation. I can make it so you don't have a deficiency judgment. I can make it so you can basically not ruin your credit. I can make it so that, you won't have all these bad things happen as a result of foreclosure. Oh, and by the way, you will be in control of the process. You can have a graceful exit. No one's going to be pounding on your door and throwing you out like from a sheriff's sale. I can help you get into a rental. Oh, and by the way, would a check for, say, $25,000 be of interest to you? Are you telling me that's a difficult listing presentation?
Yeah, and by the way, I can price it right and get you an offer by Friday.
Exactly. In this market especially, because there's still a lack of inventory. In most markets.
How hard is that really?
We have to pay for it.
Oh, but wait a minute, I forgot. They don't call expired short sales.
Or they are secret agents. They want to yes. Don't tell anyone.
Oh, wait a minute. They're referral only.
Oh, that's
sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't talk to you. I know. I
unless somebody refers you to me.
Yeah. So here's what you got to do.
And you're not a short sale,
Mr. Stewart. You got to walk up and down the plane, and you got to find somebody that I know, and they have to refer you to me before I can talk to you, because I'm by referral only.
Exactly.
Sorry, we're just having fun.
We digress.
Okay. Very much so.
So point number 9, we're running out of time. So point number 9, write down 2 or 3 things that you will get done every day. Every evening at the end of your day, write down 2 or 3 things that you will get done that have to do with earning commissions. Focus on getting those things done and avoid procrastination. Just 2 or 3 things. Some of you guys have epic to-do lists. And believe me, we do too, okay? That's all right. We want you using lists. We want you doing the brain dump. We want you writing it all out. But some of you get overwhelmed and you look at your list and you end up doing nothing because it's such a massive list. So there are guaranteed things on your list that don't have to get done. Remember, do it, ditch it, or delegate it.
Here's your system. I'll make it real quick for you guys for the sake of time. So because Julie and I are on a schedule because we have other things to do after this that we're going to get done today. You should too. Point number 1, here's the way to basically keep your thoughts organized. And this is where you start. You should all do this maybe right after this call opposed to waiting to the end of the day. Write everything down that's in your mind, completely. And, some of you have just absolutely crazy random thoughts. Write them all down. Just get them all out of your head. But focus purely on your real estate business. Focus on what you have to be doing in your real estate business. The lead from the open house you didn't call back, the past client that you should have called, the seller you drove by today that you knew from the coffee shop that you knew mentioned to you in passing that they want to sell their house in the spring. Write all those things down, get it into one big list, okay? That's step number 1. Then step number 2, I want you to prioritize so you have this big list, and I want you to write do it, delegate it, or ditch it at the top of your list. The first thing you got to do is you go down your big list, and it could be pages, some of you, and put a star by the things that are going to get you paid the fastest. Because guess what? The things that are going to get you paid the fastest are almost always the same things that are going to put you in a position to help the most people. Aha, connection, learning bridge created, now crossing the bridge to Moneyland. Okay, so the fact is, guys, if you can have the thought, I can help this person doing this lead follow-up calling. This person will put money in my pocket the fastest. Those are your priorities. All your other things, like Julie said, the tweaking of the website and the, choosing all this other crap. Guys, that's what sucks all your energy and your time, and it doesn't make you money. The stuff that makes you money is the basic stuff. The stuff that makes you money is the stuff that's going to put you in direct contact with a buyer or a seller. Lead follow-up, generating leads, actually going out there and, hey, here's an idea for you. Every single day, a new minimum standard for you. This is one of the minimum standards I have for almost every one of my graduate students, is they have to have a conversation 5 times or 10 times with someone outside of their general prospecting time with someone about real estate. So I'm forcing them throughout their lives to intentionally have conversations with people about real estate. And who doesn't want to talk about real estate nowadays? Everybody does. Everyone's affected some way or another. So you're back at your master list. Then you put stars by the things that are priority. The things that don't have stars by them are not a priority. They should not be making it to your list. And then what you do is every single week, you decide what are the 3 to 5 things I'm going to get done this week from the master list. Now, if you have more urgent things, the lead follow-up things and things of that nature, those things happen immediately. But other than that, the task things, maybe you're getting a listing presentation together, or maybe you are working on completing a website, or maybe whatever it is, those 3 to 5 things, those are the things you're going to get done that week. It's okay if it's only 2 to 3 things, but those things happen in the afternoon after you've done the things to generate business, after you've done the lead follow-up. You do not wake up in the morning. Most of you wake up in the morning, what you do, you're drama-seeking, you're like heat-seeking missiles after drama. You check your email, you check your voicemail.
Must find drama.
Yeah, exactly. You check your email, you check your voicemail,
you read the news,
you go to Facebook, you're looking for drama. No, tune all that garbage out. Focus on being of service. Do not check your voicemail, do not check your email until like afternoon. The first thing you do in the morning is you lead generate. You do, Julie and I, it's a great book by Brian Tracy. It's called Eat the Frog?
Eat That Frog.
Eat That Frog. And the essence of it is is do the most important things.
Eat the biggest, ugliest frog first.
That's almost always what? The things that you want to do the least.
Yeah, like, right? Let's see, could be prospecting or lead follow-up, lead generation, somewhere in those categories, I'm just saying.
Yeah, calling your centers of influence and past clients, the things that you know are going to generate the most revenue. Guys, I have a little secret for you. Mailing somebody a pumpkin and forget-me-not seeds in April and a pumpkin in October and all those types of things, it's all nice and everything, but it's nowhere near as effective as simply calling them, using one of our very nice, easy-to-say scripts, and asking for business. Every one of you can do this.
You know, there's a secret, too, here, which is the more uncomfortable you make yourself, the more money you're going to make.
That's it.
You know, it's okay to be a little nervous on the phone. It's okay to be trying out a new script and be, you know, a little concerned about how that's going to go. That's okay. That's normal.
How many of you avoid the things that even remotely make you uncomfortable?
Well, I can tell you they don't like to negotiate. Because the distance between a counteroffer from, say, Bank of America and actually getting the deal done is still too long.
Well, Julie, how many times in the course of it, I mean, we, you know, especially lately, we've been having just so many realtors that are coming to us with these other dippity-doo designations. Sorry, you guys hopefully are not, you know where I'm coming from on this. You're not taking offense, and I'm not going to get nasty comments after this event. How dare you insult my designation? Listen, I'm not insulting your designation. I appreciate all those designations for two reasons. One, for many of you, it introduced you to the things that you should be doing in this market. And two, guess what? All you guys that have all these other designations that you got in a day or two, you quickly realize that they're very shallow on content until you enroll.
They're just intro classes.
They're intro to Harris Real Estate University. That's all they are. They're high school classes, and we're, wait for it, university. So that's what many of you do. You graduate from your high school classes with your 2-day designations, and you come to Harris Real Estate University. And one of the first things we're going to have you do is we're going to say, okay, you're on the right path, but now you have to take massive action. You have to be focusing all your energies on the 2 or 3 things that you're going to be doing every single day, and it's always going to be about generating business. So, Julie, next point.
All right, our final point, number 10, create your business to be designed around your lifestyle. And that's kind of something you might be surprised to hear. Most agents design their lifestyle around their businesses. These are agents who have no life. Decide what your boundaries are and stick to them. And I think one of the easiest ways to explain this is to realize that all stress in real estate, and in life really if you're a realtor, all stress in real estate comes from living in the gray area. Now, what do we mean by that? It means being at work and thinking all of the things that you'd be doing if you weren't at work versus actually working. It's being at your kid's soccer game but being on your cell phone following up on a lead. So when you're at work, actually work. That way you can have a starting time and a quitting time. This is one of the biggest challenges with our
quitting?
Yeah.
Opposed to quitting?
Sorry. Yes.
Wow.
Quitting time.
Are you ever from Ohio?
I must be from Ohio. Okay. So, yes, but one of the biggest challenges with agents who are doing a lot of business and have some time management stuff is having a starting time and a quitting time. So it's okay to say, you know what, I don't do any calls after 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. That's the time when I have dinner with my family and I'm just me. I don't have to be a real estate agent then. But the only way that that works is when you are actually at work, you are actually doing dollar productive stuff and not doing 101 other things that wouldn't qualify for work if you had an actual boss.
Well, and here's another thought for you. Those of you who work constantly, who dream about real estate, it's because you weren't doing our previous point, which is basically having some sort of list and giving yourself permission, to do it, delegate it, or ditch it. Do a brain dump. Clear your mind of all these thoughts. At the end of every day, by the way, it's okay, and you should, go back to your master list and clear your mind out again of all the things that are in your mind that, frankly, might need to be done in the future, might not. That way, when you're done working, you are done working. You go home, or if you're home, you leave your office, and you close the door, and then you get back to doing the things. You remember, this business, guys, at the end of the day, it's designed to support your lifestyle. Your lifestyle is not selling real estate. NAR came out with, I thought was a good ad. Everybody else hated it. Real estate is our life ad. You guys remember that one. Okay? Well, realtors didn't like it because they were like, oh, my God, my life isn't, selling real estate. They took it the wrong way. The point of it is that to be good at anything, you have to dedicate your life to it. Now, here's a little sub-point to all this, guys. Balance. Let's talk about balance for a second. Now, fortunately, this little balance trend has come and gone, but still some of you believe it. Julie, in life, Have you ever been in balance?
No. I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
No. I've had the thought that I need more balance. I'd like to get more balance with this or that.
Are you talking about balance like from going to Pilates? Or are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about when agents say, well, I would do that, but I don't want to get out of balance. I don't want to feel like I'm off, right? So anytime you're pursuing something worthy, you're going to have some kind of imbalance somewhere. And one of the ways you can combat that is by doing the things in the treasure map, the 5 areas of life. I'm actually working with Rochelle on this right now. She's conquering that, where you have some basic standards that you are following. You've actually thought about, you're not just saying, gosh, I'd love to save more money. You're saying, so help me God, I'm saving 10% off of every single commission check into an account that I don't touch. And that is your standard. You know, in business, we're talking about, balance and having a life, following a schedule. If you can just end every day knowing that you followed up on every lead and end every week knowing that you've spoken with every active client, whether they're a buyer or a listing, and you've negotiated to the best of your ability and it's now in somebody else's court, well, then you shouldn't wake up in the middle of the night with real estate night sweats. You shouldn't have to be on your phone when you're at your kid's recital, right? You should be following those standards of excellence that you have set up for yourself, and then you can start to feel a little bit of balance. But this whole, I've got to have a perfect balance, it's a myth. It's impossible. Well, anyone who's successful will tell you that they have some level of imbalance going on.
Well, who was the guy that used to, Jack Welch, right? Mm-hmm. He's being interviewed, and someone asked him, Jack, you obviously put a lot of your life into building, the biggest company in the world and becoming what many people consider the most successful CEO ever, right? This is the question. Were you in balance? And Jack said no. He said, no, I wasn't in balance. When I was accomplishing those specific goals, I wasn't in balance. I wasn't doing necessarily all the things I should have been doing or could have been doing, but that was a decision that I made. So the difference is, you guys need to make that same decision if you want to accomplish anything in your lives. Anything significant is going to require sacrifice. There's no two ways about it. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying to you. They just are.
Exactly. So it's okay to feel a little bit of imbalance. That's normal for people who are success seekers. That's normal for people who are doing a great job taking care of themselves and their family and their goals. So we've given you 10 points today that are all about bringing you to the next level. 10 ways to make money now, and many of them were how to avoid mistakes, and a lot of this was mindset. In real estate, getting you to where you need to be is probably 99% mindset and a strong 1% just doing what you know you're supposed to do. When you guys come to coaching calls and you say, I don't know what to do, I always say the same thing. You do know what to do. Let's say your life depends on it and you've got to do X, Y, or Z. What do you do first? You know what you need to do. You just have to do it. So I challenge all of you to get out of getting ready to get started to someday possibly implement the things that are going to bring you to your goals and simply execute those things that you know from your coaching classes, from, every single one of our coaching classes has a homework attachment to it. All you have to do is a step-by-step process, and you will move forward. So if you're saying, well, I missed, the past 6 short sale calls, I'm overwhelmed, just choose one of them and do the homework. That's all we ask. Some of you like to make things way too hard. So go through these 10 points, and your job is to ask yourself, which of these 10 points are you doing a really good job at? For some of you, maybe you don't have an issue with the whole following your passion point number 3. Maybe you're cool with that. Maybe number 2, take action now. Maybe that's your challenge. Worry about the rest later. Maybe you have, we talked about fear of success. Maybe that's you. What are the steps you're going to take to overcome that? That's the homework from today's call.
Well, so there you go. Listen to these points. Look at the notes from the blog, Real Estate Insider News, and decide, as Julie just said, which of these points you're going to focus on. Just do them in small bite-sized pieces. Existing Harris Real Estate University students, you're going to be hearing more information like this because this is what we focus on. Our passion comes from your results. Oh, that sounds like a catchy slogan, and maybe it is. But our passion comes from your results. That's truly what motivates us. When we get great comments after events like this, when we hear how some of you are able to turn your lives around, when we hear how you're able to have, go to Europe or you're able to pay your house off, that's what motivates us. You are never going to hear us talking about anything other than what's best for you. Here's another little side thought for you. Make sure your ego, because as some of you become more successful, it's very tempting to start allowing your ego to run the ship. For example, we get press requests on a regular basis personally, and some of them are hard to turn down, but we always turn them down. Why? Because when somebody calls, like we got, what was it, Fox News or something, they had somebody who's going out seeking, they're putting together a story, and they found us from Google or whatever because I on the blog wrote something, and they're saying, well, can you comment on this? Or I read your post, and I want to know if you have any follow-up, and da-da-da-da. Well, you know what I do? I don't comment. I call them back, and I say, here's a great student that we have. I want you to contact this student, and then that student will help you out. Why do I do that? Because I want you guys to benefit from it. I want you to be seen as the experts. I want you to be getting the press.
We don't need listings, okay?
Yeah,
we're good.
We don't need listings. We don't need press. We don't need any of that stuff. What we need to do is do everything in our power to help you. Our focus is not us. Our focus in this business is you. And here's a little interesting thought to bridge this for you guys. The more we focus about you, the more we make our coaching programs easier for you to understand. The better information we put out there, the better everything comes for us business-wise and personally. See that we have learned what we're saying is true because we're living it. The more you can be of service at a higher level to other people consistently, right, the better off everything's going to be. You need to focus on those same types of energies.
Well, so you boil down all of these 10 points in our entire call today. How do you implement that? Just ask yourself, who specifically can I help when? Who can I help as soon as possible? Answer that question, set the appointment, and then lather, rinse, repeat.
Every day.
That's the cure to all 10 points.
That's right. That's it. It's called taking action. If you guys need us for anything, you can email Julie at myhreu.com, or you can email me at tim@myhreu.com. Stay tuned in to us, guys, students or otherwise, at realestateinsidernews.com. If there's anything we can ever do for any of you, you email us directly. Some of you always ask us, Tim, do you check your own email, thinking that somehow I'm sending you to a secretary? No, I check my own email. The only time one of our assistants gets back with you is in case Julie and I are traveling and we can't get back with you right away. So if you need help, ask. In the meantime, thank you for joining us for today's Harris Real Estate University Superstar Interviews presentation. I sincerely hope you got a lot out of this. I sincerely hope that we've lifted the veil that some of you have about, why you're not successful consistently. Hopefully we've removed a lot of the cloudiness in your brain about what you should be doing and how you should be doing it. We're giving you permission. No, scratch that. We are telling you, ordering you as your coaches, be successful, make money, help people. Do not be in conflict with that, and stop wasting time. Get into action. Be successful, make a ton of money as fast as you can. The more people you help at the highest level, the more money you'll make. That is the rule of life.
There you go. So you guys know what your homework is. If you need help, you know how to reach us. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you in the daily motivational messages and all of your regular classes. Have a great weekend. See you guys.
The moderator has left the